Welcome everybody to the first of should be many. We're going to do this every month and hopefully we'll get more people every time. That's the goal. Um, let me give you, we're not going to keep you here too long today. I'm a believer in short, succinct meetings, but let me show you just a little bit of what I want to cover real fast. Where to go? That one. All right, so we're going to do, you see all this? Brief introduction, just so everyone knows each other. I always think that's important. We're gonna talk about a couple of new features and I'm gonna give you time for questions and I'm going to get some feedback from you, hopefully. So I will start with introductions. I'm Ryan Congdon. I was Mr. Ryan for about 10 years at two different public libraries as a programming librarian. I'm currently the head of customer success with Prenda Code Club, and it is super fun. We're really enjoying it. I just finished up David Copperfield for the first time, so that was a good read. Very different than other books I've read from the time period. Of course, most of that was Jane Austen. So, and also just finished up the Book of Lost Things, which was completely different, but very enjoyable. And I'm working on the Jack Frost, The End Becomes the Beginning by William Joyce, and the William Shakespeare's Tragical History of Frankenstein by Ian Desher. So good stuff. Who would like to go next? We just go down the list. Becky, why don't you start?
All right, hello. My name is Becky and I'm the Learning and Engagement Manager at Pine River Library in Bayfield. But previous to that and kind of continuing, I've been the Teen Services Manager. So I've been working with Prenda for a little while now. With Luke, usually did my last training, so I'm excited. And yeah, cool. I'm very excited to see where this can go in the future.
Yes. And Elizabeth?
Hi, I'm Liz Von Tofkerton, also with Pine River Library. I'm Digital Services Manager. And Becky didn't mention what she was reading, but I think that's the most interesting question of your three.
We're librarians after all.
I just finished Fugitive Telemetry, which is Murderbot #6. Loved it. And I'm reading Becky Chambers' current new book, The Galaxy and the Ground Within. Love it so much. And I recently got turned on to the Lady Emily historical mysteries, and I'm on #3 and loving that also.
Becky's reading The Sanatorium, brand new gothic horror. Very nice. Very nice. All right. And Avina? Did I say that right?
Hi everyone, I am Ivana Shu. I am with Monty Park Bugama Library. I'm technical service supervisor, and we have this Prenda Code Club set up because of the COVID. We used to have the in-person training. I still have the team do the in-person training. So, but because we are still closed, but we are going to open next week. So hopefully with the Prenda Code Club will be part of the summer reading program. And I'm trying to get people enrolled. Last year, we only have like 60 somebody, but we want to increase the enrollment this year.
Those are great numbers. Good place to start. And what are you reading?
Actually, I haven't got time to read. I'm trying to take classes to learn about virtual programming, OBS, learning how to do OBS.
Okay, very important stuff. Very important. Well, thank you. Lori.
Hi, I am with Wilson Public Library in Cozad, Nebraska. It's about the middle of nowhere.
That's where I grew up, in the middle of nowhere. Different middle, but.
We have been doing Prenda Code Club for just about 2 years. I mean, with COVID, we were pretty much locked down and not doing anything. I just finished The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes and just started Trevor Noah's Born a Crime.
Nice.
And excited to be here.
Awesome. Excited to have you. And everyone keeps moving around. Lisa?
So I'm the youth services librarian, and I work in Radnor Library, which is a suburb of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. And we have been, it's only a few months now that we are having Prenda. And so we have had just like a couple of introductory workshop meetups, and we put out bookmarks, and along with a display of coding books, put out bookmarks, trying to get people to sign up on their own. And just came today to try to get, to hear what's new, to see what tips we might have for, making it a successful experience. And we do all sign up for, there had been coding in person at our library before the pandemic, but part of why we chose it was because of the self-directed, and people could take it as far as they wanted, but also for the convenience during the times when we were closed. So, and for reading, I just finished reading Descendant of the Crane by Joan Huff. And this was a fantasy, a really interesting fantasy story. So if you are a fantasy fan and enjoy particularly young adult stories, it was a good one. And I just yesterday started reading one called There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job, which is by Kikuko Sumura. And it's kind of a darkly funny book about, I don't know, difficulties of the workplace.
Who has a difficult workplace? We've never been in any of those.
No.
Well, thank you. And Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Parlier with the Otago Prattville Public Library in Prattville, Alabama.
Nice.
I am the programming librarian, and we've been doing virtual code clubs via Zoom. We did a 2.5 month or so class in 2020, and then we're on our second class of code club that we're doing now, also virtually. I've also taken advantage of Prenda's No Tech Code Kit. That PDF is fantastic, and I actually turned it into a make and take for our library and
Awesome.
stuck like the beads in there and some sidewalk chalk and all that good stuff. So that was a really huge, really Prenda's been like a huge help to us.
Oh, good.
And
warms my heart to hear that kind of stuff.
yeah, well, thank y'all for what you're doing, because I mean, yeah, virtual programming is new to me, as I'm sure it's new to many of us. So being able to have some resources there has been nice. In terms of what I've been reading, I also do not have much time or brain power for reading most of the time. But I do have a very talented coworker who's also an author over in the corner, kind of next to me. So on my to be read list is her book.
Very nice. Very nice. Welcome, welcome. I just posted the link to that No Tech Code resource in the chat if you hadn't seen it before. Lots of good stuff there. And last but not least, Shannon.
Woohoo! No, I'm at the Pitkin County Library, and that's up in Aspen, Colorado, and I'm the makerspace and now young adult librarian.
Awesome.
So I started doing coding clubs in October for the first time, and did the Girls Who Code platform, and had girls all through just last week. We ended last week, and just looking for other platforms for them and how to approach coding in different ways, where I can also do a mixed group. And Prenda seems, we just got the Prenda platform, so I'm really excited to see what I can do with this.
Yay!
Oh, and I just recently read Dark Archives, which was a book about books that were bound in human skin. It was really fascinating. It's actually the history of medical history. It goes all over the place. It's really cool. So yeah,
that's awesome. Well, welcome, and welcome everybody. I don't think we had any repeat books in that list. That's pretty impressive. So let's get started, shall we? I just want to say, I know we're all have had a rough year. The light, we can see the light, it's there. we are getting there, and I think this summer is going to be great. And even with all those struggles, our statistics continue to rise. We continue to set new records for coders and code club meetings, and that is all on you guys and your hard work. So well done, well done. So one thing, new features. If you haven't seen this yet, we are really excited about this. Oh, you know what? I can't wait till the time comes when Zoom is like a thing of the past and we don't have to do this anymore. I'm sure you all feel the same. Okay, so in the admin portal, we have this, we have our student section, and I'm not sure which library. I think I just picked a random library. You pick your library from the list, and you can even pick a specific program if you've set those up. But next to the coders, you can now come over here and click See Progress, and you can see everything that your coders have completed. So you can see who's working, you can see kind of what they've done, what they haven't unlocked yet, what maybe they're working on. If this person was in the middle of a workout, it would show kind of a half-filled box there. So this is just a way, if you, for instance, during summer reading, challenge your patrons or your coders, hey, go complete this mission for whatever, you know, reward you're doing for summer reading, you can go in and see that they've done it and then, you know, verify that way. Just a nice little feature we've put together. Let's see if there's more to say. Say this person's halfway through the intro. I think this is actually one of our new libraries in New Zealand. We actually, Prenda is worldwide now. Okay, well, international. We'll go international. We have libraries partnering with us in Canada, in New Zealand, and we are working on libraries and schools in Sweden and Scandinavia and all up there through EBSCO. So really is a really broad community that your coders get to be involved in when they're participating in this. The next thing, so there's that, the coder progress. This is probably more useful if you are, you know, giving a little more structure to your coding programs in the future, and it will help you to give a little more structure to that. We think we designed it with our school library partners in mind, because, you know, they needed a way to grade and make sure that their kids were doing what they asked them to do. But I think it'll be helpful for just about everyone. The other thing, the spring contest is almost over, but did I have that one up here? No, different tab. Aha, there we go. The summer coding contest will be beginning in June. So we're trying to tie it to the national summer reading theme, Tales and Tales. And so this is kind of the graphics. Each graphic will have a ping form and a GIF form. Are you gonna, it's not gonna GIF for me. Here we go. Maybe this one will. Bueller. There we go. So they'll have a little bit of motion to them just to make them more interesting for your social media. We're really excited. I'm not sure what the prizes will be with this contest, but we hope that you'll be able to work it into your summer reading programs in some way. I know it's only about a month, but I have faith in you guys, even just to promote it as an extra.
Ryan, we're all seeing the Prenda dashboard still.
See, this is why. Let's just fix this. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, give me this. Let's just do this again. Share. Okay, can you see it now? Can you see the graphics? Okay, so embarrassing, Mr. Ryan. Okay, so here's our theme, Tales and Tales. It's going to be animal themed. The projects will be create an informative animal website or an animal animation, like an animated animal video of sorts. We're excited about that to tie it in with your summer reading. And hopefully it'll give just another way for you to promote Code Club as a service and as a program in the library. And hopefully by that point, maybe you'll be able to let kids in and do more of that in-person program tied to this or through your virtual programs. Have any of you been or had coders participating in the spring contest that you're aware of, or the holiday contest prior to that? No?
So I have encouraged my coders to participate in the spring contest. I
Mhm.
encouraged them to participate in the winter one as well, and that ended up being a no-go. But I'm incentivizing them for the spring contest with the internal our library prize as well.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping we have at least a couple of people who are giving it a go.
Awesome. Well, I'll get these graphics out to you guys probably hoping by the end of the week is when we've got, if not this week, then next week. So you can start sharing those and getting those resources out to everybody. We're excited just to have one more way that you can, like I said, that you can make use of the service with these contests. That was, we do have some more, and we're gonna talk about that during the feedback portion, I think. Let me stop sharing because I think that you're seeing what I'm seeing and you're not. We do have some more updates coming. We're constantly working on improving the app, improving the experience for the kids and for you as facilitators. The layout of the missions page in the app that the coders will see is going to be different soon. It'll just be more intuitive and kind of help them through that process a little bit more. We are updating the curriculum continuously. Luke and I are making new videos so the kids aren't bounced to YouTube constantly to watch a tutorial. The tutorials are all made in-house, so you don't have to worry about that. They've been lots of fun to make, a bit of a challenge to make. You know, I have to be in character the whole time while I'm talking, so that's always interesting. But we're excited for it to be finished so that you can experience all of that. There are some of the new workouts are live on the website. So if you haven't seen those, I'd encourage you to go check them out. And I also, you know, just try them yourself because I think they're lots of fun. You know, if I'm gonna, you know, say so myself. Let's go to how is your, we talked a little bit about how your Prenda experience is going. Do you have any questions for me about anything regarding Prenda, regarding Code Club, anything we can do for you? Let's just open up that. No? Anybody? Rachel, was that a hand raise or was that
That was, yeah. So my question's kind of complicated maybe, but I guess what I'm wondering is there like a happy medium in terms of training myself to code to be a better facilitator? And I do recognize that that's not necessarily a requirement, but
it can be helpful.
Could we do like maybe a resource page for the facilitators to say, like, when kids get stuck with design 4 and you're on design 1, here's I mean, I've just been Googling it, honestly, like Googling their questions, and it's helped.
Yeah, have you gone through the training videos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure we start there.
Yeah. And those were super helpful. That put me at ease just to start with, because I had zero confidence in myself. I have no coding background whatsoever. So I had zero confidence in running a code club until I did go through that training. So thank you.
For myself, that is a great idea. And I'm going to add that to my list of projects, you know, like just a resource page to go to. In terms of what I've done in that situation, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, Google is going to be one of your best friends, depending on what they're working on. No, that's not the right tab. I really need to just clean this stuff up. Depending on what they're working on, you know, there's the process. You want them to try and solve the problem themselves. You want them to try and help each other. When they're obviously in a virtual setting, that's a little more difficult. But if they're working on something in Scratch, for instance, Scratch usually has the answer. I would, if someone said, how do I make this project in Scratch that I want to make? I'd say, well, let's go see what other kids have done on Scratch. And I'd search for a similar project. And then we'd explore the code together and look through it. And then I would learn with them. And that's really, I mean, unless you have time to sit down and kind of practice your coding on a regular basis, which I is a great thing to do if it works for you and if you have that time. I'm learning doing these tutorials. I'm like, wow, I've never thought to make something that way, to use that particular type of code for that, to solve that problem. So just diving into it a little bit will help, but it really, what it comes down to, I think, is individually, where is your comfort level? But that's going to be different for all of us. So I don't know if it's a complicated answer for a complicated question, I guess. But
No, that made sense. Yeah, thank you.
The idea of the resource list, like here's a bunch of places you can go to help your kids find answers. That is fantastic. And that is going on my project list, if I can find that list.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Rachel, one of the things that I found helpful, at least with my girls, because I don't have a lot of coding background either, was that, so this was fun. I found Adafruit.com. You know, she has all these microcontrollers and stuff that you can buy. And when the girls were able to equate what they were coding with something physical, it seemed to help, like, put those two things together. That was just something that we just discovered recently, and they had a lot of fun, and that's how we ended. And now I'm like, oh no, we got to keep going. So we're starting another club in June. So, you know, that was one thing that I found helped with, you know, both of our knowledge, you know, and it was just a fun resource.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. Would you mind putting that in the chat for me?
Yeah, please.
Of course.
Ryan, this isn't a question about coding, but can we see your shirt?
Oh yeah, sure. Calvin and Hobbes kept me sane as a kid, you know.
Oh, that's adorable.
Adventure awaits, 1985. Let's go exploring. I actually got into Calvin and Hobbes because my grandmother had the creepiest old house ever. And when of course, I being the youngest, would have to go to bed before everyone. And so I was upstairs in this creepy old house all by myself. And the only thing that kept me sane was Calvin and Hobbes that I found on the bookcase. And I would just read Calvin and Hobbes until I passed out in bed. So very important to my childhood. And, you know, it's fun to have fun shirts. Used to be, as a librarian, I had to wear a shirt and a tie, which I didn't mind. I had a lot of funky ties and funky shirts, but this is fun as well. Calvin and Hobbes does rock. Absolutely. And thank you, Shannon, for sharing that resource. I'm going to copy it as well. Yes, Ivana.
Are you going to have the hour coding hour every week in summer?
I would like to. I think our goal is to wrap up the curriculum updates by the beginning of June. So we'll have all the curriculum updated. And so starting in June, I would like to have like community-wide, nationwide coding meetings like they did last year in the summer, at least for the duration of the summer. So I will notify you guys more about that when we have something set in stone. But yes, I think we're going to do that.
Great. How soon you will let us know, because I need to promote
Oh, yes.
the newsletter, you know, tell them in advance, because we have to do like monthly letter to way in advance so that people can sign up.
Yeah. Give me a couple weeks to just firm things up with Luke about that, and then I will let you know.
Yeah, I like the coding club, because you do a nationwide, people can interact with each
Oh, yeah.
other.
Mhm.
Because you ask, although the curriculum itself like do themselves, but no less motivation than meeting together to do it every week.
Exactly. Well, and they get to meet kids from around the world who are interested in the same things, and that's awesome. So,
Great.
yeah, that is one of my goals for this summer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions, concerns, feedback? So let's go to feedback. Are there any ways that you think you would like to see Prenda improve? The app, the curriculum, our support, I can tell you, once we get the curriculum updated, we are going to make a new set of training videos so that they reflect the current state of the app because they're a little outdated. So that's coming down the pipe eventually. But is there anything that you feel would make your job easier?
I would like more marketing materials, like for
Okay.
social media.
Yeah, we've kind of been relying mostly on the EBSCO ones at the moment, but I think it's time to broaden that. So that's a fantastic idea. Anyone else?
I think maybe related to it with the social media, I think some of the ones we've been using, they maybe have a lot of kid appeal, but we also need to be able to rope in the older children. They're fun. They're definitely fun. But that's just a thought if you're working on that already.
That is absolutely valid. I worked with everyone from book babies to, teen programs. So I'm aware that you gotta be flexible. As you're all aware. So no, that is very good feedback. This is awesome. I hope we can do this every month. My kids just invaded the other room. Sorry, I'm in my basement, so if things get a little rowdy, it's because my 4-year-old just busted down the door. Anyone else?
I would actually just like some feedback because I haven't used the platform yet and I haven't gone through the training videos just yet. I mean, this is how new we are at our library, but just some feedback from some people who've already been using this and how you got started, quickly. It doesn't have to be drawn out. Just I'd like to know how you started and where you're going with it.
Well, I'll lead off of that. I started, my director said, hey, the mayor wants us to do a coding club. So you get to do a coding club. Here's some Chromebooks, have fun. And it was 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago now. And I got hooked up with Prenda because he wanted me to start in like 2 weeks. So like, well, we're going to start with this company, and we used their service for a summer. It has improved vastly since that first summer that I used it. It was in its infancy. It was Luke and the other guy who had started the company, and that was it. And they were doing the best they could. But I brought everybody in. We got them signed up for accounts, and our Wi-Fi went out that day. For the next 3 months, our Wi-Fi was gone at our library. So we used our computer lab. That was exciting. And that's just to say, things come up. It happens. But from there, I just I tried out the workouts, and I talked to every single person I could about it, really promoting it anywhere that they would let me. And we had a great success. So that was my story. And every time we ran a program, we had great success, and we changed kind of how we structured it as I learned what worked and what didn't. And every time we had a session, it was great. It was a little bit different, a little bit better, a little bit more, but it was a great experience because I was engaged in it. And that's, as you all are aware, your enthusiasm is what drives the program. Any program at the library, your enthusiasm is going to drive it. And that's the biggest point that I can make in that. So anyone else? Because I'm sure you've had great experiences as well.
I think Becky would probably be better. I was just her assistant, but I'm pretty sure we got started with Prenda through a grant initially. Is that right, Beck?
Yeah, we did. It kind of tied on to a push that we were doing at my library for STEAM through all programming for youth. And it just tied into it really naturally.
Very cool. Is that your cat, Becky?
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes, this is Nigel, and he only wants to be the center of attention. He doesn't even care like usually, but as soon as I'm on a Zoom, he's like, I'm so excited to see you all.
I thought he was going to climb on your head there earlier for a second.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, that's Nigel.
Anyone else want to share their experience?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lori.
That's all right. I was just gonna say we got involved with a grant also. I have no coding experience other than a Pascal class way back in the 80s when I was in high school, which is a dead language now. We meet weekly, and we were running about 25 kids at one point pre-COVID. Um, so we now have a lot of Chromebooks. We snapped up the Chromebooks right before Zoom calls went crazy
got me.
and you
That's
can't
pretty
find a Chromebook anymore. Right now, we're still meeting weekly, but the kids are coming like shifting weeks. And so we have dropped down to a core group of about 10. And I don't know if you saw my chat or not. They tend to just sign into Prenda now, and then they go over to Scratch and they just remix other kids' work, which is fine. But when I went through, to see where they were in the workouts and the missions, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are really smarter than a lot of this. And they've talked to me a lot about their aspirations to, be in robotics or computer science. I'm like, maybe if you try these workouts, you'll get a little more, knowledge, you'll get a little leg up. One of the kids is interested in apps, and I saw, I'm like, oh, you really need to do these workouts, and then it'll unlock, the level you want to be at. So I had one homeschooler who kind of looked at me, who went from this very non-talkative ranch kid that was homeschooled 20 miles away from us to now that's all he wants to do is talk and not really work. And I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And he looked at the kid next to him who's hardly ever there. And I'm like, wow, you're really gunning. You're through everything. And the homeschooler was like, I'll do better. I'll do better. I'm like, it's all for you. You don't have to do this for me. This is for you. But yeah, you can do better.
I had that same problem. Always, there was a huge range. There were kids who just wanted to come and hang out, watch YouTube. There were kids who would just remix stuff on Scratch or play games on Scratch. And then we had the kids who were like, Mr. Ryan, I want to make a website and it's going to have this and this and this and this. And there were kids who were doing these fantastic things with animation using Scratch and other coding platforms. I don't know what you're doing. That's amazing. I don't know how, but it's amazing. So you're going to have that range, and it's just a matter of encouraging them wherever they are to try something new. I would give challenges every day. We'd have coding. I'd say, okay, here's something cool I made. I think it's cool. At least you guys might think it's silly. And I'd show it to them and I'd say, try and make it. Or, here's the challenge for today. Make something that actually has a purpose in your daily life. I made a timeout timer for my kids. When the face turns green, you can come out of the corner, that kind of thing. That's it. Make something that has a purpose beyond just a game so that they could see the possibilities. And it really is just a matter of that encouragement, because one thing we want to stay away from, that I always want to stay away from, I think part of our Prenda mission is to stay away from this being school. We don't want it to become just another homework assignment. We want it to be fun, and we want it to be their thing. We want them to be driving their learning and their progress. And if we get too pushy with it, it's not going to work. So, Rachel, did you have before Lori?
I was just gonna say that I feel like starting with the training for facilitators, those training videos, is a great place to start. And then we did start out initially, we weren't introduced to Prenda until after COVID had wrecked everything. So we started out virtually, and being able to have that training resource helped a lot with that. So we're doing like a bring your own technology, drop in Zoom type of format. But I really do think that the Prenda model overall, and especially the way the training kind of helps facilitate us in facilitating that, is really well suited for you to be able to do that trial and error and be able to figure out what your specific library needs in a code club um, from jumping right in. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, Shannon. If you haven't, take a look at the training videos. If nothing else, it sounds like you did a great job with your Girls Who Code. So a lot of it will probably be, familiar to you, but it'll just help you get in that right frame of mind to get going.
Yeah, because one of the I think the hardest part of any of these has been, okay, so my first session, we started off with, we're gonna have a project at the end and let's work towards a project. And we thought that was fun. And we kind of halfway did Pong games. I had a chicken bouncing off of a trampoline on Scratch, and they thought that was hilarious. So, we had fun, but then the second session, they just wanted all kind of unplugged activities and theory, which was amazing because these were 9-year-olds that were talking beyond what I ever thought. So I'm always underestimating them, but very badly, actually. So,
Good problem to have.
But yeah, they're amazing. They wanted to do binary coding for 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. We'll just keep doing this. So I think that flexibility, and it sounds like this platform is going to be really on par with something that we've already done and really anything you can jump in on. So thank you. I appreciate that feedback from everyone.
Can somebody throw the training link into the chat for the videos?
Give me just a second and I'll get it for you.
And I just want to say how impressed I am with the way that the platform works, because you can do it on a Chromebook. You don't have to install any software. You can learn bits of Java without having to install the runtime environment. You can, you don't have to install Scratch. You don't have to. It's amazing to me, the functionality. So obviously your coders are geniuses.
Well, he is. We only have one guy working on it, but he's great at what he does. I'll give you that much. Yeah, the Code Club team is just me and Luke and our developer, and we are working to try and get as much done as we can to make this awesome for you guys. We're all very kind of invested in the mission. So
it's remarkable. The functionality is remarkable, in my opinion.
Well,
when I learned all those codes for school, I had to install things.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to do that with these kids, and that's amazing.
We want to make it as simple as possible. And I'll pass that on to William. He'll be glad to hear it. The training link is in the chat. It's just training.prendacodeclub.com. It's all at your own pace. And you can watch the videos one at a time, all at once. Really great. So definitely give that a look-see. I just wanted to share the link for, where'd I go? Oh my goodness, Mr. Ryan. There we go. The project I would always share, and I'm not going to make you watch it right now, but you should go watch it when you get a chance. This is the project I would share. It's in the chat at the beginning of each coding session, not each meeting, but when we started a 6-week session, I'd say, this is what I would use to introduce Code Club. And it always got a laugh. Although my coworkers hated it, and you'll see why when you watch it. But it was just me being silly. It was the very first thing I'd ever made using code, and I followed a tutorial, and I didn't know what I was doing half the time, but I made it work, and it got the kids just ready to go do something. And that was, that fire was what we needed. So. I hope no one's watching it right now. Are you watching it right now? Shannon's laughing like she's watching it right now.
Yes, I'm that kind of student. Sorry.
I understand. I was usually that kind of student too. Any other questions or feedback? Anything? Elizabeth's watching it now too. I can tell by the look on her face. Everybody. Okay, you can watch it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me know when you're done.
That was fun.
That was, yeah, I thought it was fun. The starfish does not get eaten. He shows up in another project I would show him later on. So I would recommend something like that just to get everyone gung ho to try something, just to show them possibilities. Obviously, that's silly. It's fun, but it's silly. It's nothing earth shattering, but it doesn't have to be. And that's kind of the point, that they don't have to make the new Facebook on their first day. They just make a little animation and have fun with it. Any other feedback, questions, comments, concerns? I think this was really valuable. Thank you. I got a lot out of it, and there's a lot of direction that I'm going to take from this meeting. We will be having these on the 4th Tuesday of each month. So next month it will be the 25th, right before summer reading starts. So we'll have a lot to talk about then, I'm sure. And hopefully we'll be able to get a bigger group, although this was nice. I think if we have a bigger group, we'll do some breakout sessions, but this was nice regardless. So.
Did you have something, Becky?
Oh.
Well, it's really just, it's not even feedback. I'm just, we have a science corner at my library that's
good.
full of live animals, and we get to build some programming around them because it's finally tied into the theme. And so I'm just super excited about like the informative like animal website, so I can try to like learn how to do it with our own animals. We've got a snake, we're working on some hissing cockroaches, we've got
Nice.
frogs, all kinds of fun stuff. So I heard that and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
That is
So
really.
at any rate, I'm just excited.
We had baby chicks one spring in my library.
We've got baby chickens hatching right now for it.
Love them.
So,
We had a contest where they got to name them. That was super fun. That's awesome. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna call the meeting. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Do feel free to email me anytime you need anything. Set up a meeting one-on-one if you need to talk about something, and I'm here for you. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great one.